All right, so you wanted the rundown on Onward Technologies Q3 earnings call, and well, we've got you covered.
We dug into that transcript you sent.
Oh, yeah, let me tell you, this company is making some moves.
It's fascinating how Onward is approaching the engineering and IT solutions space.
Yeah,
They're not trying to be everything to everyone.
right?
They're laser-focused on building deep relationships with a select group of high-impact clients.
It's like they're saying we're not a supermarket, we're a boutique.
Exactly.
They're all about quality over quantity.
That's right. And they're targeting three main verticals: industrial equipment, transportation, and mobility, with a heavy emphasis on automotive and healthcare.
And there's some hints about their U.S. expansion plans, even with all the buzz about global capability centers in India and how they're thinking about AI. Get ready for some strategic insights.
Okay, so first things first, let's look at the quarter itself.
Hmm.
Onward reported a stable Q3 with revenue of 123.4 crores. That's an 8.2% year-on-year growth and a 9.1% EBITDA.
Not too shabby, especially considering they had to navigate the holiday season and some unexpected client furloughs.
Right, and CDO Jigger Mecca even mentioned that they had a late surge in furloughs, mostly from those larger clients shutting down for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It was more than they anticipated.
So how did they manage to stay stable despite that curveball?
But what's impressive is that they were able to secure new last-minute projects and even exceeded expectations in certain areas.
Okay, so that speaks volumes about their agility and those strong client relationships they're cultivating.
That's where their targeted growth strategy comes into play.
Mm.
They're moving away from working with a lot of smaller clients and are deliberately focusing on fewer, higher-value clients.
It's like they're carefully choosing who they work with, right? It's not about casting a wide net anymore. It's about making sure each partnership is a good fit.
I like that analogy.
Hmm.
Think of it as 10 clients generating $10 million each, or 20 generating $5 million annually.
So by going deep with fewer clients, they can really understand their needs and deliver tailored solutions.
Precisely. This approach allows them to streamline operations, build expertise in specific areas, and potentially command higher margins.
That makes a lot of sense. And to support this strategy, they're making some significant investments in infrastructure. Tell me about this new facility in Chennai.
Oh, it's quite a strategic move. They're consolidating their operations into a brand new, large facility in Chennai. It's going to house their delivery capabilities for industrial and automotive verticals, along with labs and centers of excellence.
Wow, so they're bringing everything under one roof. It's like the Onward Technologies mothership.
Yes.
But why Chennai?
Well, Chennai already has a thriving tech scene, and Onward is taking advantage of that existing infrastructure and talent pool. Plus, they're optimizing their costs by consolidating, not incurring huge new expenses.
Smart. And they're even adding a customer experience center to this facility.
They are. It's a space where clients can experience Onward's expertise firsthand, see demos, interact with their teams.
It's like a showroom for their engineering prowess.
Exactly.
That's a great way to solidify their brand presence and build stronger relationships. Now let's shift gears to their healthcare vertical, which they launched in April 2024. It's already showing promising growth, and what's interesting is their approach.
They're diving headfirst into digital and AI solutions for top-tier healthcare brands.
And they're doing it from a digital-first perspective, which sets them apart in this space. It's a bold move that demonstrates their adaptability and commitment to future-proof solutions.
Absolutely.
It's not just about dipping their toes in the water, they're going all in on the future of healthcare technology.
And they're attracting some big names early on, which positions them as key players in this rapidly growing market.
Okay, so we've talked about their strategic client focus and their investment in infrastructure, but a company is only as good as its people, right? How are they attracting and retaining top talent in a competitive market?
Well, they're putting a lot of emphasis on employee investment. They have a dedicated talent acquisition team. They're boasting low attrition rates.
Yeah.
And they've implemented a new ESOP scheme.
This new employee stock ownership plan, tell me more about that.
It's designed to reward performance at multiple levels: company, business unit, and individual. It's based on market price with discounts, which is a pretty sweet deal.
It's like they're saying, we succeed together, we benefit together. It's a smart way to create a culture of ownership and shared success.
Absolutely. It's a win-win for both the company and its employees. Now let's zoom out a bit and look at their global strategy.
Even with the rise of GCCs in India, they're still committed to expanding their presence in the U.S. Why is that?
They see the U.S. as a key market with immense potential. They're not shying away from investing there, and it aligns perfectly with their targeted client acquisition strategy.
So they're playing a global game, but the U.S. market is a priority. It's a mature outsourcing landscape, and they're aiming for those long-term, high-value partnerships that are at the heart of their approach. Now let's address the elephant in the room, AI. Everyone's talking about it, some with excitement, some with apprehension. How is Onward approaching this potential disruptor?
It's a question that's on everyone's mind. They're acknowledging the potential impact of AI and automation in the engineering space, but so far they haven't seen it disrupt their core business.
So they're not hitting the panic button just yet.
Not at all. And what's interesting is that they're not just waiting to see what happens. They're actively developing AI-powered utilities to enhance their own processes.
So they're embracing AI as a tool, not fearing it as a threat.
Exactly. They're using it to automate tasks like code generation, which can free up their engineers to focus on more complex and creative work.
It's about staying ahead of the curve and ensuring their services remain relevant in a rapidly changing technological landscape. Now, during the Q&A, an investor brought up the impact of generative AI, specifically tools that can automatically generate code. There's been a lot of buzz about that lately.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Could this kind of technology make some of Onward's services obsolete? What was their take on that?
Well, Jiggermecca's response was pretty pragmatic. He said that while they have built some internal utilities using generative AI, they haven't seen a major impact on their client projects yet.
So it's something they're monitoring closely, but it's not a major threat right now.
Correct. He even mentioned that many of their clients, particularly in Europe, are actually asking them not to use AI tools for certain projects.
Really? That's surprising. Why would clients be hesitant to use AI? You'd think everyone would be eager to jump on that bandwagon.
Well, it seems there's still some hesitation, especially in highly regulated industries. Perhaps concerns about data privacy, security, or the explainability of AI-generated code are playing a role.
It just goes to show that the adoption of these new technologies is not always a straight line. There are nuances and complexities to consider.
Absolutely. And that's why Onward's approach of carefully integrating AI into their workflows while also respecting client preferences seems to be resonating.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Onward is posting stable growth. They're cultivating deep client relationships. They're investing strategically in infrastructure and talent. And they're taking a proactive stance on AI. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but what's truly fascinating is how these different pieces fit together. It's like they're weaving a cohesive narrative about their future, and that's what's capturing attention in the market.
It's not just about growth for growth's sake. It's about strategic, sustainable growth that aligns with their vision and values. Which reminds me, didn't they say something about a shift in their approach to competing?
Yes, Jiggermecca highlighted a move away from simply competing on cost to truly understanding and delivering on client values.
Yeah.
It resonated with me because I think it reflects a broader industry trend.
Makes sense considering their focus on fewer, higher value clients. It's about building those long-term partnerships, not just chasing the lowest bid, almost like they're choosing to work with clients who share their philosophy.
Exactly. For years, outsourcing was all about finding the cheapest labor. Now companies are realizing that the cheapest option isn't always the best option. They're looking for more than just a vendor. They're looking for a partner who understands their business, shares their values, and can help them innovate and grow.
So Onward is selling expertise partnership, a shared commitment to success. And that's powerful, especially in specialized sectors like healthcare, where trust and understanding are paramount.
Right, and their investment in employee ownership through that ESOP scheme also reinforces this. It's not just about attracting talent. It's about creating a culture where everyone is invested in delivering exceptional value to clients.
They're really leaning into the we succeed together, we benefit together mentality, which makes me think, how can you, the listener, better align your team or your company's efforts around shared values and goals?
It's a question worth pondering, because Onward's success suggests that this kind of alignment can be a powerful competitive advantage. Speaking of advantages, we've talked about their strengths, but they also face challenges. Balancing global expansion with those deep client relationships won't be easy.
And they'll need to maintain the right balance between human expertise and automation as AI evolves. It's a lot to juggle.
It is, but they seem aware of these challenges and are actively addressing them, which is encouraging.
Okay, let's talk tangible results. What are the signs that this strategy is actually working?
Well, we need to look beyond just this one earnings call for a complete picture. But even now, there are indicators worth noting. They've secured those high-profile clients in healthcare. Their attrition rates are low, which is huge in a talent-driven industry. And they haven't been as affected by the AI anxieties we're seeing elsewhere.
It sounds like they're building a resilient business model, one that can withstand short-term fluctuations and adapt to long-term trends. Okay, back to their global strategy for a minute. They're heavily invested in the US market, but they also mentioned the growing importance of GCCs in India.
It seems like they're trying to strike a balance between building a direct presence in key markets like the U.S. while also leveraging the talent and resources available in India.
So it's a two-pronged approach. Be close to their US and European clients, but also tap into the cost effectiveness and scalability of their operations in India.
Exactly. It's a smart strategy, especially for a company that's aiming for rapid growth.
Yeah.
They can leverage the strengths of both locations to achieve their goals. And it sounds like they're creating a company culture to support this.
Right. Jigar Mecca emphasized building a global mindset within the company, encouraging employees to think beyond borders and embrace cultural diversity.
It's essential for success in a globalized world.
Yeah.
Working effectively with clients and colleagues from different cultures and backgrounds requires more than just language skills. It's about understanding different perspectives, being sensitive to cultural nuances, and building trust across borders.
So they're fostering a culture of inclusivity and collaboration that transcends geographical boundaries. It sounds like they're building a truly global company, not just a company with a global presence. But even with a solid strategy and adaptable culture, there are always external factors to consider.
You're talking about the volatility of the global economy. It's a challenge many companies face.
Exactly. We've already seen how Onward had to adapt to those unexpected client furloughs in Q3, and factors like inflation, rising interest rates, and geopolitical instability can significantly impact their business. How are they preparing for these potential challenges?
Well, they emphasize financial discipline, focusing on managing their costs carefully and ensuring they have a strong balance sheet.
That's crucial in uncertain times. It gives them the flexibility to weather those economic storms and capitalize on opportunities as they arise.
They're also focused on diversifying their client base and revenue streams. This helps them reduce their exposure to any one particular market or industry.
It's about spreading the risk and ensuring that they're not overly reliant on any one client or sector. But it's not just about mitigating risk. Onward seems to be taking a proactive approach to sustainability.
Yes, they talked about their efforts to reduce their environmental impact, promote social responsibility, and create a more ethical and inclusive workplace.
It's clear that sustainability is not just a buzzword for them. It's a core value that's embedded in their business practices.
They understand that sustainability is not just good for the planet, it's also good for business.
It helps them attract and retain talent, build stronger relationships with their clients, and enhance their brand reputation.
It's a win-win situation for everyone involved. And it also aligns with the growing demand for sustainable solutions from clients across industries. Now, I'm curious about their growth strategy moving forward. Have they hinted at any potential acquisitions?
Jigar Mecca didn't specifically mention acquisitions in this call, but he did talk about their commitment to strategic investments. It's possible they're considering acquisitions to accelerate their growth, expand into new markets, or acquire new technologies and capabilities.
It would be interesting to see what kind of companies they might target if they were to pursue an acquisition strategy.
Would they focus on companies that complement their existing strengths, or would they look for companies that could help them enter new markets or verticals?
It's definitely something to keep an eye on as we track their progress. Now, before we move on to our final thoughts, I want to circle back to their approach to AI. It's a topic that keeps coming up, and for good reason.
It's a major force shaping the future of many industries, including engineering. And Onward's approach seems to be a blend of embracing the potential while acknowledging the need for caution.
There's a lot of hype around AI right now, and investors are understandably curious about how it will affect companies like Onward Jigger. Mecca's response was measured. He acknowledged the potential for disruption, but also emphasized that they are embracing AI and using it to enhance their own capabilities.
It's a balanced perspective. He's not denying the potential risks, but he's also not shying away from the opportunities.
Right. They're not just jumping on the AI bandwagon for the sake of it. They're carefully considering how they can integrate these new technologies in a way that makes sense for their business and their clients.
It's about finding the right balance between embracing innovation and staying true to their roots. They even gave a specific example of how they're using AI right now.
Yes, they're using AI to automate code generation. It's a task that's traditionally been very labor-intensive, so automating it could free up their engineers to focus on more complex and creative work.
It's a win-win. They get increased efficiency and potentially reduced costs, and their engineers get to focus on higher value tasks. But it also raises questions about the future of engineering jobs.
It's a valid concern. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's likely to automate more and more tasks that are currently done by humans. So what does that mean for engineers? Are they all going to be out of a job?
Well, Mecca didn't seem to think so. He seemed to believe that AI will augment human capabilities rather than replace them entirely.
It's a viewpoint many share. AI could become a tool that engineers use to enhance their productivity and creativity, not a replacement for engineers themselves.
That puts the onus on companies like Onward to ensure that their workforce is equipped with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in this new era of AI-powered engineering. It's a fascinating time to be following this industry, and I'm eager to see how Onward continues to evolve and adapt to the changing landscape.
Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into Onward Technologies, one thing I want to emphasize is their focus on building a long-term sustainable business.
They're not just chasing short-term gains, they're making strategic investments in their people, their technology, and their operations to create a company that can thrive for years to come.
It's a refreshing approach in a world where many companies are obsessed with quarterly results and short-term profits. They're playing the long game.
And that brings us to our final thoughts for you, the listener. What is the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with after this deep dive into Onward Technologies?
Onward Technologies exemplifies the power of adaptability, strategic focus, and a commitment to building genuine partnerships. In a world that's constantly changing, these qualities are more important than ever. They haven't just been reacting to changes, they've been anticipating them and positioning themselves accordingly.
It's a proactive approach that could really pay off in the long run.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, think about how you can apply this to your own work or organization. How can you be more proactive and adaptable in the face of change? How can you strengthen your partnerships and focus on shared values and goals?
It's a question worth considering because, as we've seen with Onward, these qualities can be a real competitive advantage in a dynamic market.
Couldn't agree more. And with that, we'll wrap up our deep dive into Onward Technologies.
We encourage you to explore the source material further. There's so much more to discover about this company, and who knows, maybe you'll find some inspiration for your own journey.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.